Hey! You don't know already. You don't know already. Ooh, you don't know already. Hey. You don't know already. You don't know already. I said you don't know already. And now it's just begun. Now it's just begun. And it's only for a moment. Said it's only for a moment, yeah. And now it's just begun. And now it's just begun. And it's only for a moment. Said it's only for a moment, yeah. And now it's just begun. Now it's just begun, and it's only for a moment. Said it's only for peace in family. Nakumaisha, it's your brother from another motherland, Mr. Mikel. The world changer, energy healer, here in rhythm, on breath, for another conversation on spiritual health, family. Wow, it's a great honor to be here right now on this rhythm that is acting as a force field, a powerful force that is literally changing the dynamic of life around me and us, those of us who are in the same force. Yes, and so it's such an honor, family, to observe where this love service has brought me to in myself, in the experience of myself, my experience of this world. Habari asubuhi is habari. Let me write it. Habari. So it's a A instead of a U. Habari asubuhi. Yes. Yeah, family. But yes, family, man. Honestly, it's such a beautiful moment that I get to share with you guys, and I don't take it for granted, and that's why I always have to mark the moment with some breath. But family, we're here for this spiritual health conversation as usual. You know, this is our intentions in Waroho House to not only speak on spiritual health but create solutions to living a spiritually healthy lifestyle, family. Yes, so whenever you hear me speak on Waroho House, this is what I'm talking about: the grouping of people dedicated to creating spiritual health solutions to the life that we live. Okay, we want a lifestyle that remains spiritually healthy, that doesn't only deal with spirituality when it comes to a building or a day of the week, right? Or when you're around a particular kind of people or in your own home, but we want a lifestyle. Yes, meaning how we educate ourselves and our children, the food that we eat, how we receive, and the process, the cycle of food that we eat, the clothes that we wear, the language that we speak, the memories that we keep, the way in which we process life. every aspect of what we do for fun, what we do for leisure, what we do for money, what we do for economic growth. Everything must be led by the desire to grow in spiritual health, wisdom, and power. You see, and that is what Waroho House is for. That is what Waroho House is dedicated to. And this has been my intention for the past over 10 years, and it's crystallizing now in a way that is becoming very the fruits are beginning to bud. It's very early stages, and I am having to grow to ensure that these fruit can bud how they're supposed to. So this year has been all about challenging self, challenging the ego, challenging identity, challenging your norms, challenging your own way of life, so that you can literally manifest that which you have prayed for. You see, in order to become something new, you have to engage yourself in a different way. You see? And so right now, I am having to personally engage myself in a different way in order to become and manifest that which I want to manifest in myself as Mikel, in the community of Waroho House. You see, it's very important, family, that we submit ourselves to growth, that we submit ourselves to the growing pains, you see, of evolution. This is so important, family, and this year has been the biggest teacher of that. And so because of that, family, I'm just so humbled by this daily practice, humbled by this daily study, and the life that we live. I want to encourage any one of you out there who are not participating and would like to participate in what Waroho House is doing and developing. If you see yourself as someone who wants to contribute to the spiritual well-being of the next generation, and you want to build with other people, then join us in study. One of the most important foundations of Waroho House is this laws of Ma'at. It's so important because these laws are beyond ego, personality, and even myself. You see, these laws are universal principles in which we are all made up of. And if we want to build and develop a new world, if we want to develop a new lifestyle, if we want to create a new reality for us, then we must be able to go, we must be willing to submit ourselves to the process of evolution, which is dying in all the forms of identity, the 11 forms of identity that you once knew, and submitting yourself to be reset and opened up so that you can channel a new reality from yourself. This isn't Mikel ideas. You see, this is ancient wisdom, yes, of self. Does that make sense? One that everything you see me do, family, is, I used the laws of Ma'at as a barometer for the way I carry out business, for the way I make decisions on how I serve, from the way I make decisions on what I give my attention to, knowing that it is entirely my responsibility. This is where the oath, the Waroho oath that you see tagged in the comments, this is where that oath comes from. Heaven is my right and heaven is my responsibility. This oath is coming from the knowledge of the fact that we are vessels, right? Channels of the Most High's consciousness. We are the channels of the consciousness of God. Therefore, our right in existence is to experience the utmost highest consciousness of God, which is heaven. That word heaven represents the highest intention of the Creator. And as the Creator's means of expression, family, we are deserving of heaven. But as you realize you are deserving of heaven, immediately you realize that you are also responsible for making it and bringing it into existence. So heaven is my right, and heaven is my responsibility, is derived from understanding who we truly are. We are not these bodies, neither are we the emotions that are channeled through these bodies, but rather this body and the emotions that we channel are part of the vehicle to harness the power, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the vision of the Most High Creator we call God, Allah, Mungu, Tik, Oludumare, Yahweh, Jah, Rastafari. You understand, family? So the foundation of this community, Waroho House, and that which we do is anchored by the study of our spiritual, scientific makeup as human beings. The 11 laws of God, which is taken from the Metuneta. Okay? But this is the foundational study, family. There's going to be more study groups. We link up every Sunday, and I do a breakdown of all of these laws. So for anyone who would like to start studying it, whether with us or on your own, you could go to my website, link in my bio, worldchangerlife.com, download a copy for free. You can download a free PDF copy of the Ma'at 11 Laws of God. Alternatively, go online and you can maybe purchase it, the physical copy. But download this, the Ma'at, the 11 Laws of God, from my website. You can download it for free and join us for the weekly study on Sundays. Again, you can sign up via the website, the Ma'at study class, and that is weekly, family. And every week I break down one of the 11 laws. I go into practical living examples that will help you not only observe the laws in your daily life, but also put it into very simple practice, and even be able to teach your children and family members. Again, another one of my highest intentions, family, is to be able to speak in such a way that children and adolescents can understand me without having to break it down again. I want to speak so clear, so simply, right, and potently that children can go, this is what he's talking about. And this is how I, as a 9-year-old, as an 8-year-old, as a 6-year-old, I'm going to apply these words. So that is my mission. So that being said, if there are any parents out there that feel that I need to reiterate certain points, or I'm becoming too esoteric with my language, stop me and ask me to simplify what I'm saying. Ask me for practical examples. Ask me for, does that make sense? Bring it back down. If I'm becoming too wishy-washy, then I definitely want you to stick a pin in what I'm saying and ask questions that will allow me to go into it further. Also remembering that all of these lives are going to be stored and eventually put out as podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, and Apple. And so again, these lives are converted to audio form so that they can be studied later on. So please, if there are any questions as I'm talking, write it down, put it in the question box. Let me answer it during this live. Don't let it slip away, so that again, when this is put out, family, you can again share it and study it and break it down. Yeah. So these are my highest intentions, family. Waroho House again is a digital, global, digital African village. We're a village of many people from different walks of life, people of the diaspora who are coming together to take responsibility for the spiritual posterity of our children. This week we've been talking, well, the past week we've been talking a lot about memory, family, and I definitely want to go deeper into that, probed by your questions. But we've been talking about memory and understanding that your memory is your imagination on in both polarities, the memory of your past and your memory of your future. That's what your imagination is. And so it's so important understanding that your muscles, your body channels energy, you see. And if your consciousness is picking up memories, whether it be of the future or of the past, you are going to channel those memories in your actions, channel those memories in the way you speak, channel those memories in the way you engage with people, channel those memories in the way in which you live your life. That is literally, like no hocus pocus. That is literally, yes, shifting the future that already exists, the children of the children of the children that you have now. Does that make sense? The children of the family. Even if you never have children in your lifetime, you know, don't be so quick to leave yourself out of affecting the future. Tupac never had children, but look at the effect Tupac has had on children, on the way in which we live our lives. Does that make sense? There's so many great people that never had kids of their own, you know, but got to affect. So I am very much aware, yes, that I am affecting children that are not even linked to me by blood, but linked to me in spirit. Yes, we call on the spirit of some ancestors who are not linked to us by blood. Whether you're talking about, whether you're dealing with our sect or Nefertiti, or whether you're dealing with Dr. Sebi and Layla Africa, whether you're dealing with Baba Credo Mutwa, you see, whether you're dealing with Sojourner Truth or Malcolm X or MLK, or whether you're dealing with Nat Turner, or whether you're dealing with your own, you know, someone who's inspired you in your community. We can call on these spirits. Why? Because they have left memory here. If they've left memory, that means there is data that we can harbor from them. That is exactly what you're doing when you're calling on spirits. When you are channeling spirits, what you are doing is tapping into memory, into data, and aligning it with your hard drive. This is why you take on a character. Actors, yes, actors take on the character. How did Denzel Washington channel and become Malcolm X? Yes, the way that Jamie Foxx became Ray Charles, or even Chadwick Boseman became James Brown, or channeled a fictional character into flesh, T'Challa, the Black Panther. It's because there is memory out there for them to download onto their hard drive known as their body and to become. You see, your computer can become a virus based on what it downloads. You see, your computer can become a hub of knowledge and wisdom based on what it downloads. And so it's the same with you and your vessel. This is how it is. This is how, when we're talking about calling on the spirit of certain ancestors, when we put out offerings, when we put their picture up, when we, you know, put out things that they used to do, a certain drink they would have, a certain food that they liked, certain cloth that they wear, certain smells. What you're doing is channeling that energy, that memory. You're calling the memory back to space and using yourself as a way to allow the spirit to incubate itself in a vessel again. This is what actors do every day. Actors do this as a career. So it's not hocus pocus. They do this as a career. This is why someone like Heath Ledger ended up committing medicinal suicide on himself, because the spirit which he channeled when he went into the character of the Joker was too much for him, too much for him to carry on as normal. And Jack Nicholson literally said, Jack Nicholson was the first Joker in the 90s Jack Nicholson, when Heath Ledger died, Jack Nicholson shook his head and said, "I told him so." He didn't even say, "Oh, that's terrible, that's bad." He shrugged his shoulders and said, "I told him." Yeah, so don't think it's a joke. You're calling yourself an actor, you're channeling spirits. Do you get what I'm saying? You're channeling spirits, family. You see? And that's why people like my brother are very, very intentional with the roles that they take on, because they know it never leaves you. Never. You have to do serious work. Serious work. And most actors, as great as they are, do not understand what you must do in order to cast those spirits off once you're finished with them. Because that wisdom is not a part of the acting movie industry. Does that make sense? It's not that wisdom of how to now remove those spirits that you end up taking on and give yourself to is not a part of that industry. They're not concerned with that, family. So let's bring it back, because I digress, but I want to, make a point, because I understand the creatives that listen to me understand that, the way in which you live your life, family, and the memory and how you engage with memory, yes, is literally designing your reality. Whatever you wish for your children to be, you must become it. Whatever you wish for your ancestors to be. How about that? I've spoken about this before. Many of you don't know or don't even realize that you are born to free your ancestors. You're like, Mikel, how can I free my ancestors? You are there to free them by the way in which you live your life, family. Do you realize your ancestors are still enslaved based on the memory you hold of them? You don't ever think about that, right? You think it's cool to constantly engage in a particular memory of your ancestors, knowing that at some point in their history they were free people? How many of us, when remembering our ancestors, yes, can remember them from a place of power? You think that even in their time they didn't exercise a certain level of autonomy over themselves? You think we're so arrogant, you think you're free. You're in as much bondage as they are, just in a different way on paper. But when in 100, 200 years they read about our life, they're gonna read it as if we were still enslaved. The most powerful thing about slavery and how you keep a person enslaved is having them believe they are free. When you manage their options for life, when you manage their options, this is what even people like this is what people like Kanye are talking about, for example, when they're saying it doesn't matter which side you choose, it's two wings of the same bird politically. When you give people two options of the same entity, they're not really free. You see what I'm saying, family? So even now, in the memory that you are channeling, yes, in the memory that you are channeling of your future and your past, you must exist on the same cycle as a free person. That is how you heal your history and how you heal the future. By becoming. And this is what we talk about when we study in the 11 laws, and one of the laws where it speaks about in Ma'at, the principle of love is giving, seeking nothing in return. This is practically what we are speaking about, family. Love is not about your affection towards something or someone. That's not love. That is how the artificial man and woman describe love to us. That is how the artificial program, yes, led by white inadequacy, has been sold to us. But that is not love. Love is giving, seeking nothing in return. Because principally love is not about what you get back, but what you engage with yourself to become. Love is about what you are dedicated to becoming. And that has nothing to do with anybody else. And everything to do with what you are using your life to becoming. You were sent here to become. And in your birth and nurturing, your parents and society at large were guiding you to become something. At somewhere along the line, between your parents and society, you maybe realized that what they were guiding you or not guiding you to become, you didn't want to become. And you went through the process of taking the wheel and allowing your own spirit to be led by the consciousness that empowers it. Yes? And maybe you realize now that even your story of oppression, your story of, trauma, your story of hurt and pain and challenge and strife and adversity has literally led you to the chapter you're on now, where you are realizing your purpose for coming into existence. Yes, it is all there supposed to happen. And right now, if you're hearing my words, it means that you are supposed to hear these words, because these words are going to be the catalyst to the next decision you make in your life. If you haven't heard my words, you wasn't supposed to hear it. You see? But right now you are hearing my words. This is the call to shift. These words are opening up your consciousness to yourself and to your life thus far. And it's going to be the permission slip that is channeled through me to you, that you are going to allow and take control of, to enforce the evolution that is being called to you right now. Memory. Remember who you are. Love is not about what you are affectionate towards. Love is about what you are allowing yourself to become. Allowing yourself to become. This is why in Waroho House we talk about love service. We talk about love service, and everybody is encouraged to create and engage with a love service, not for the benefit of other people, but first and foremost for allowing yourself to become that which you are dedicated to. Yes, that way, through your engagement with other people, the reinforcement of who you are, the reinforcement of what you are dedicated to becoming, you are gonna stay on a constant rhythm of love service, family. You see, I've done this with myself through this live. Now, we've been it's 2 years now. Coming on 2 years since I've been doing this spiritual health podcast every day, every weekday. And for those of you who don't know, if you want to hear back this podcast, you can go to Spiritual Health with Mikel on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Spiritual Health with Mikel, and you'll find all the previous podcasts dating back nearly 2 years now, early 2019. So yeah, family, this is it, so what are we dedicating our lives to? What we are dedicating our lives to is creating the new memory, family. Yeah, creating a new memory. This is the question. The judgment day we've all been talking about, the judgment day we've all been reading about, is upon us. And it's a beautiful judgment day. Not quite like what we thought it would be, but there is an alarm going off I always say, Judgment Day is very quiet. It's happening right here in the center of your being. And it's a conversation. The clouds will open up and God will descend onto you. And that's a poetic way of saying, yes, your awareness is opening up. On every level, nobody can claim ignorance. Every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess. Nobody can claim ignorance anymore. Ignorance is a real choice today. Yes? Because not only is your consciousness opening up, yes, on every level, yes, the channels in which, because you got to look at even this phone, and this is something we spoke about in our last study group on the weekend just gone. We spoke about this. Technology is evolving in consciousness, and so are you. Technology is only a reflection of where you are going, you see, and allows you to engage with your conscious development on a very low level. But phones, technology, and everything around us is growing in consciousness, and so are you. And so that consciousness is the cloud opening up. And because of that, you are now having to become aware of things that people of old were ignorant to, which is challenging your very view of life, the very foundation in which you set your identity on. But it's also availing to you the opportunity to make a decision about who you really are. Today, with all this power, with all this freedom to do and act, we are now getting to see who we really are. And there's a battle going, not a battle, but there's a conversation happening between the indivisible duality, yes, that they speak of in the laws of Ma'at. You see, Ma'at is about that balance, the truth, the justice, the harmony, reciprocity, the order, the propriety. You see, Ma'at is looking at your consciousness and your spirit. You see, consciousness is that feather. That's the feather. Your spirit is your roho. Do you know that in Swahili, roho means both spirit and heart? Yes? Not necessarily the heart, the physical heart, but the energy of the heart. You see, so roho directly translates to both spirit and heart. You see, and the laws of Ma'at and the judgment of Ma'at is putting the heart on the scale next to the feather. The feather represents the consciousness of God. That is how light that consciousness is. The heart represents the spirit in which you carry on earth. Yes, the heart. That's your rhythm. Yes, the spirit in which you carry on earth. Now, the judgment, family, is how much does your heart align with the consciousness of God? This is where Ma'at is. The balance, to all my Libras out there. This is Ma'at. The balance. Your heart must be as light as the feather, which is the consciousness of the Most High Creator. Your heart must be as light. This is why we cheza roho, because we can't have things on the heart. We just got to expel and express so we can go back to peace. You see what I'm saying, family? But this is where the judgment day is happening. We are in a constant battle between the ego, which is the densest part of our spirit. Yes, it is. Your ego, this flesh, is the last manifestation of the spirit that we have. You see, carried by the heart. That judgment is being balanced against the consciousness of God that you are being opened up to. And each time your awareness is opening up, each time your awareness is being revealed, the question is, can you make your heart match with your awareness? Or will you allow your heart to weigh down the awareness you are being opened up to? Will you allow your heart to be dragged because of the pain that you've experienced, the challenge you've experienced, the offense you've experienced, all of these different things? Are you going to allow that to drag you away from the knowledge of who you truly are, which is peace? Are you going to do that? This is the question. And the most beautiful and scary part of this question is, I'm not the one you answer to. I want everybody to really, really get this in your head. I am a spiritual guide. Yes. I am a leader. Yes. But I am not the one you must answer to. Remember that. The moment you make me that person, you have missed out. Yes, you have missed out, family, on the true purpose of what's happening here. That question is to be answered in the way in which you live your life. And no one has any part of that. Only you. Only you. Only you. You see, as my wife says, that's between you and your God. Such an African thing to say. That's between you and your God. So, let's keep it moving. Yes, we just gone over the half an hour mark. So let's get it in, family. Question time. Let's do questions, family. That's between you and your God. Don't bring that to me. Woo. Yes, family, let's do some questions. And now it's just begun. And now it's just begun. And it's only for a moment. Said it's only for a moment. And now it's just begun. Question. Has my views changed since you started this journey? What is this journey? What journey are you talking about specifically? Is there a specific journey you're talking about? Is there a specific journey you're talking about? What journey? I'll wait. Also, family, please put in questions. Anything that's on your mind. If you want me to speak about something, we've got 20 minutes left. 20 minutes and 30 seconds left. So let's get into the questions, family. Okay. So I've been on my app for 2 years. I should I say, I've been on this particular book for 2 years, but there's other books as well that are very powerful by the same author that are taken from the Metuneta. Has my views changed? No, it's weird, man. This is something weird about memory. My views haven't changed. They've been affirmed. Therefore, I've become more cemented in my views. They haven't changed. They've been affirmed. But what has changed, I would say, is the study has allowed me to release certain attachments that I was holding on to just in case. Yes? Just in case, it's like, let me give an example. It's like you're going somewhere and you carry certain things that you want as safekeeping, but it's really weighing you down, but you don't want to go without it because it represents your security right now. You see what I'm saying? And in terms of my spiritual journey, I would say that I was holding on to particular attachments, ways of being that were not conducive to the spiritual path I needed to walk on. And this book of remembering the laws helped me to be cemented and confident in what I was innately doing already. If you're creative, you need to study this book. If you are someone, like this is for the millennial generation. Remember, this podcast that you will be hearing on Apple and Spotify, it's already out, but this particular episode you'll be hearing, this is dedicated to the millennial generation. This is a spiritual health conversation for the millennials. If you are a creative, one of those, them people who cannot help living a creative life, you need to study these laws, because you are going to be able to understand something about your creative abilities, more than just ways to get stuck in very limited industries. But if you are creative, this particular study is going to open you up to understanding your creative abilities as spiritual powers. You feel me? And that's one of the biggest intentions that I have for my work. Yes, I'm a great rapper. Yes, I'm a formidable producer. Yes, I know how to build events, know how to write songs. I know how to dance. I know how to do all of these things. I'm a great actor. I can do film, all of these things. But I want, particularly for my African diaspora, my community of African people worldwide who are always the initiators of every creative industry. We are the forerunners of every creative industry. But the problem is, the industries are built by people who do not have that same spiritual power. My work is to reveal to my creatives, yes, the spiritual nature of your creative ability, so that you can have the confidence in what you are doing and to build from the ground up in alignment with the posterity of your children, of the future, of the education, the societies that you want to build. You can use your creative prowess for that very engagement. And these very recent industries, you got to remember, the music Hollywood is only but 90 plus years old. But the spirit, channeling spirits, which is what acting is. I need everyone to share this. If you're an actor, actors, I need this to be shared. Acting is channeling spirits. That's what acting is. Channeling spirits is a part of every African society. So that's always a thing. Yeah? What we call the music industry and rapping and singing and performing arts is a part of the spiritual practice of every African and indigenous community. The drum, dancing, singing. Yes? So when we come up as children of the ancients and we put our spiritual gifts into these industries, it may make us money, but it traps us because we are not able to design what our spiritual expressions do. You see? And that's what this study has freed me in understanding. This study has freed me from the boxes that I put myself in as an artist. Freed me. And I've been able to touch more people, more specifically, from understanding that what I'm doing is a spiritual work as a creative. Not just to impress people with how sick my lyrics are. I can impress you all day long with my lyrics, but if my lyrics do not help you channel, like I'm not trying to do it by accident. I'm trying to do it on purpose. Do you get what I'm saying? On purpose. My lyrics are on purpose. They're like, it's like going to the medicine cabinet. We ain't just popping pills. You don't go for cod liver oil when you got a headache. Do you get what I'm saying? You don't go for, what's that? I don't even know the drugs you lot be taking. What's them? You don't go for ibuprofen when you got a bad stomach. Do you get what I'm saying? You go for specific things when you got specific things you need to work on. That is a spiritual work. That's Western medicine. It's all spiritual. You popping pills, we playing drums. And drinking herbs. Channeling spirits. It's all spiritual work. But instead of doing it by accident and wanking with that creative powers, we're doing it on purpose. You see? So when you play my music, you will come to know. You pop in that Rhythm and Breath mixtape or my music or anything, you start to know through engagement. Even in Cesaro, you will know, I listen to this song for this. I put on that for this particular reason. You see what I'm saying, family? And that's what the study has allowed me to open up to. The power of what it is that we're doing. Yes? Alright, let's go. Oh, we got more questions. Right. You see what I'm saying? Oh, we got loads of questions. Alright, let me try and get through these. Hold on. Hold on. How does one stay humble as we grow in confidence and intelligence? What place does humility have? This is so powerful. This is such a powerful question. And it's one that I always engage with. And I'm going to put it very simply like this. Forgive me for my crass language. It's remembering that you don't know shit. You understand? You don't know shit. You know what I'm saying? As much as you know, you still don't know shit. That is the most humbling thing to always remember. Believe you me, family. As potent, as clear, and as powerful as I speak, I humble myself to the fact that as much as I know, I still don't know shit. Or as Erica Badu put it, the man that knows something knows that he knows nothing at all. And that's what I remain humble to. I am constantly channeling the consciousness of God. It's not me. Yes? This is why in Islam they say all praise is due to Allah. This is why in Islam they always say, whenever you hear someone like Minister Farrakhan speaking or Malcolm X speaking, their practice, they'll say something and people will cheer them on and say their name and they'll be like, all praise is due to Allah. It's to remember that we are but channels of the Most High Consciousness. So what I'm saying, you can channel in yourself. And this is important to remember. What you are studying, the reason why this did not change me, because I was already channeling it. This just helped me remember and inculcate discipline into what I already know. So it's humbling yourself. There's things that for example, you know what helps me remain humble is I've been doing this live for 2 years and I have never, other than the first week of my life, I do not prepare for anything that I'm going to say. Nothing. There is no preparation that I have for this live whatsoever. I click live, I sing, and I speak. That's it. There are things that I say that I have transformed my life. I can't take the credit as the ego, Mikel Amin, yes, this person who has no form of higher education or academic, achievement to my name, right? I can't take the credit from an identity point of view for what I'm saying. What I can take the credit for is allowing myself to be a vessel and share. You see what I'm saying? That's what keeps me humble. I don't know shit. I'm channeling it. I'm allowing. That's why it comes out so free and flowing. You look like I got a teleprompter in front of me. But I'm not. I'm just channeling. That's it. I'm just channeling. And I practice availing myself to be channeled through constantly through my creative work. As an actor, as a rapper, as a singer, as a dancer, whatever you call yourself. Yes? Waroho, you are constantly opening up yourself to channel the consciousness of God. Don't give that to anybody. Don't give that to anyone. That belongs to you. And that's how I remain humble. It's not me. All praise is due to the Most High Consciousness, family. Let's get it in. We got 9 minutes. Yeah? Okay, sorry. Someone asked how I'm feeling. I'm peacefully challenged. I'm peacefully challenged. Alright, we got 9 minutes. Alright. We all need to remain focused. Can you give us a tip to continue our day? Remember that you are peace. Remember that peace is who you are, first and foremost. So whenever something comes to remove you from peace, even if it's pleasure or challenge or pain, for example, remember that peace you can always find. Go back to it. So if someone's calling you out of yourself, observe what this situation is. Call it. Remember, don't make it about the person. Make it about your pursuit of peace. So if something is challenging your peace, see it as a game. Cheza rojo. Play with that energy and see, oh, okay, this is an interesting one. I don't want to be around you, or I don't want this situation. If I have to be in this situation, then I'm going to see how well I can observe peace and engage with it to the point it disappears or removes itself or whatever, or the best route out. You see, that's one piece of advice that that applies to any day that's going on. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. We got 8 minutes left, so I'm going to try and go through these questions. Bam! Could you explain ma'at in layman's terms for someone who hasn't learned about it before? Cool. So ma'at is the ancient principle coming out of Kemet. But again, I don't want to give that entirely to Kemet, because once you learn, for example, the same principle appears in ancient cultures. For example, even in Kikuyu culture in Kenya, you see the principles of ma'at, and throughout Africa, the ma'at is symbolized by this feather. Okay, and you'll find a lot of traditions in Africa, they use a feather, right? And ma'at, even in the Kikuyu language, means the same thing. Okay, so this is an ancient African principle that represents order. The order of life on earth and the consciousness of God. The order in which all things are created. So if you look at the scales, for example, that's why ma'at is always represented in scales, right? A scale deals with two polarities, the left side and the right side. The masculine, the feminine. Everything in life deals with polarities, okay? Every single thing. Man and woman, light and dark, left and right, masculine and feminine, the sun and earth. You see, everything is polarities. Ma'at is the overriding law that governs those polarities. Does that make sense? In order for those polarities to be whole, in order for those polarities to not be violated in any way, shape, or form, to keep the polarities of life in balance, in order, you have ma'at. Ma'at is what happens when you have a order and balance in life. Does that make sense? So the principles of ma'at, when we study them, they are supposed to remind us and help us keep that order in order to experience the greatest aspect of life, which is heaven. Ma'at is about creating heaven in life, your life experience. You do that by understanding. For example, if I could picture it for a second, when you ride a bike, the only way to enjoy riding a bike and to enjoy the thrill of riding a bike is keeping the balance. There is a science to riding a bike. If you lean too much on the right pedal, you're going off. If you lean too much on the left pedal, you're going off and you fall to the ground. You cannot enjoy the journey. Yes? Also, stopping on a bike. There's a certain rhythm you have to keep. There's a certain pace you have to go. There's a certain balance on both sides that must be respected and honored in order to partake in the riding and enjoyment, the thrill and journey of riding a bicycle. Does that make sense? And similarly, the journey that we are on, the safari that we are on, the never-ending safari we are on called life, there are laws that must be respected in order for us to really enjoy it, to get the best, most pleasurable and most thrilling experience out of it. There is laws we must observe to have it at that level. That law is called ma'at or ma. Yeah, so even in the certain pronunciations, it's ma. Yeah, the T is silent. Yeah, so family, I hope that explains it better. Yeah, I hope that explains it better. Yes, so just like Stormy said, the scales is not a judgment. It's an observation. Right? I got one more question, I think. Oh, I'm getting the countdown. So I might not be able to answer this sufficiently because we're getting the countdown. Any suggestions for how one can deal with depression or low mood? Work. Cesarojo. Yes? The way I deal with depression and low mood, family, I submit my life to my love service. Keep on your love service, irrespective of mood, irrespective of emotion, irrespective of how you're feeling. Show up for whatever. Like my love service is Cesarojo. My love service is this spiritual health talk. I do it every day, regardless of what's happening in my life. That is how you deal with depression or low mood. You submit your life to your love service. Your love service will always pull you back into that better mood. Another way of dealing with depression, which I need another session to talk about, so maybe we'll get into this tomorrow, is trying to understand what the depression is calling you to deal with. Sometimes the depression is you fighting against a call to go inside and observe something of yourself. So sometimes depression is not a bad thing. It's only characterized as a bad thing because we do not respect the cause of the spirit. You see? That's all I have time for, as we have 30 seconds, family. I'm going to see you lot back here at 10 a.m. for Ceza Rojo. Yes? Ceza Rojo is in full effect. Pre-order these t-shirts if you want one. They're going to be available at the end of the month. Peace in, love out, family. Nakumaisha.